UTSA downtown should become the center of gravity for a downtown by and for San Antonians. There's no question that we love our Riverwalk and the Alamo. We love the Tower and La Villita. They're vital parts of our history and of our economy. And they're also where the tourist experience revolves around. They belong in part to those who come to learn and to enjoy our city. But over these last few years, another downtown is rising, literally and figuratively. This decade of downtown has seen the construction of thousands of new housing units, the birth of a tech corridor along Houston Street, and the blossoming of an arts community at Blue Star, in Southtown, and in the Near East, West, and North Sides. UTSA can catalyze a downtown renaissance, a thriving community of knowledge seekers, people of every background, living near one another, with good housing, access to transit, and the tremendous economic opportunity that an urban university can spark. To do that, UTSA must first take a leading role in convening and dreaming. I hope that in the months to come that you'll call together all of the area's institutional players and the community to draw up a bold blueprint for downtown and the near West Side, with UTSA downtown at its center. During my tenure at HUD, I visited 100 communities in 39 states. As you can imagine, I saw cities doing a lot of great things. And if I had one piece of advice, it would be this: that you get all of the significant decision makers in one room for one 8-hour workday. I know that that can be a long time to ask folks to work. The mayor and the county judge, the city manager, the housing authority director and the director of VIA, SAWS, CPS, and the chambers, along with major private, nonprofit, and neighborhood leaders. Have them bring maps with the investments that each of them are making in the downtown and the near West Side marked on them so that you can see the overlap. And then come to understand the scope of what's already in motion and dream about what could be if you work together. There's just no substitute for this kind of meeting of the minds and the deeper place-based work that ought to follow from it when it comes to crafting and pursuing a strong vision for our community. And the thing is that San Antonio has already shown that it can do this. We did it on the East Side a few years ago, and that's led to some promising and undeniable progress. And with all of the momentum that downtown has today, the time is right to chart its course for tomorrow. As you do that and as you grow, I also hope that you'll live up to the spirit of those who made the push for a downtown campus in the first place. The whole point was to put in those who had been left out. You can keep doing that in several ways. First, be inclusive. Become a stronger neighbor to the near West Side. Today, just across the bridge from this campus, sits a community that is, in many ways, the enduring heart and soul of this city. Its culture, its vernacular, and its faith speak to who we are and where we came from. Unfortunately, the west side of our city has long been underinvested in. In 1968, the year before UTSA was chartered by the Texas legislature, CBS News aired Hunger in America, a documentary about 4 communities in our country that were extremely hard hit by poverty. And our West Side was one of them. In the years since then, a lot of progress has certainly been made. But now the West Side finds itself caught between enduring poverty and trying to stave off displacement. The neighborhood is changing. Properties are changing hands, being flipped, and residents who have called the Westside home for many years are being ushered out. And the question is, how do we strike a balance? How do we spark greater opportunity in downtown and on the West Side, improve the quality of life there, and also do it in a way that makes those gains available to the families who've called the neighborhood home for generations? UTSA can lead and should lead on this. Through the years, UTSA's professors have helped the city to think through the challenges of urban growth, and I have no doubt that they can play that role in this case as well. Mayor Nurnberg's Housing Task Force is an excellent place to start, and I hope that UTSA will lend its expertise and full attention to that effort. One of the best ways to strike that balance is also to reach beyond the bounds of higher education into pre-K through 12th grade education and forge a new kind of partnership between UTSA and the public schools of the Near West Side. Time and again, a downtown campus was championed because it would be physically closer to low-income, first-generation, and minority students. The idea was that instead of only reading about a college campus or seeing one on television, they could see one right in front of them, practically in their own neighborhood, and be inspired. That's a powerful idea. But proximity doesn't necessarily equal possibility. You have to make it real for them. Every day, less than a mile from us, thousands of children sit in classrooms at J.T. Brackenridge, at Tafoya Middle School, and Lanier High School. Yeah, y'all can clap for that. These children are children of tremendous promise, children from humble families with the same big dreams that you'll find anywhere. And just a few blocks away from here, on El Paso Street, is Cafe College. Now in its 7th year, it offers effective one-on-one counseling on admissions and financial aid. Working together, UTSA, the San Antonio Independent School District, and Cafe College ought to create a corridor of academic climbers, young people who won't just be able to window shop a university, but will be able to attend and to graduate one day. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that you have been good partners with the school district on many projects over the years. I know in many ways that I'm really preaching to the choir. But it's time to go bigger, to come together and to set a blueprint for lasting progress, and to set concrete goals for ourselves. Can we increase the number of those children who graduate from high school and then attend and graduate from UTSA by 10, 15, 20% over the next 10 years? I bet that we can. For inspiration, we might look to universities like Drexel in Philadelphia. Drexel is the driving force behind the West Philadelphia Action for Early Learning Initiative. It's working with a broad array of stakeholders to lift up West Philadelphia by creating a pipeline of students who have access to excellent early childhood education and by ensuring that their families have the support system that they need to be good shepherds for their kids. UTSA downtown should consider serving a similar purpose for the west side of San Antonio. At a broader level, our city must continue to cultivate a college-going culture. And because UTSA is the public face of higher education in our community for so many aspiring young people, you have an especially important role to play in making that happen. You should redouble your commitment to the PrEP program. It has helped put generations of young San Antonians on a path to college success in many fields that pay well and fit with the growing needs of our community. So it makes sense to enlarge it in the years to come. I also realize that not every step that you take needs to be a big one. Sometimes, as they say, it's the little things that count. So it's not only about grand plans for reaching out to the community, it's also about simply letting the community reach you better. Truth be told, the physical layout of this campus isn't very welcoming to the public in general. Even though the campus does host a number of events that are open to the community and makes a great effort, it's really not a comfortable fit right now. There's a highway on one side, a dearth of good signage around the perimeter, awkward parking, and the inward-facing buildings that all work to separate the campus from its neighbors. What can you do to change that? Now, I'm not a planner or a landscape architect, but I'm betting that a few physical improvements in the years to come can make the campus more inviting and integrate it into the community much better. I hope that you'll keep this in mind as you expand in the future. Finally, when it comes to the educational offerings on this campus, we know that there's still work to do. Now, and those of y'all who have been here from the beginning know this better than I do, there is no comparison between the UTSA of 1997 and the UTSA of 2017. Thanks to the leadership of so many folks, the university has flourished in just about every way that a university can. More academic programs, more buildings and resources, more students, and more prestige. And during this time, the downtown campus blossomed as well under the leadership of Dr. Jesse Zapata and Dr. Jude Valdez. Let's give them a round of applause for their good work. Some folks in this audience will remember when this was just one building, all by its lonesome. And look at it today. Yet, over the last couple of years, the university's commitment to the downtown campus seemed to be waning. Taylor, thank you, as Judge Wolf said, for turning that around. You've brought an energy and a vision to the university that I believe can reap considerable rewards for students, faculty, staff, and with strong partners, the entire San Antonio community. You also have the chance to make a truly great downtown campus part of your unique legacy as president. So, what do I mean by fulfilling the spirit of the struggle that it took to get this campus here? It means making this space match the size of the dreams of the young folks growing up around it. It means relocating substantial programs, including ones in STEM fields, to the downtown campus. And of course, it means fighting for the resources necessary to build this campus up when you have to fight in Austin to get them. And finally, I want to thank you all for inviting me here today. As kids, my brother Joaquin and I would often hop on the number 68 Guadalupe Street bus and come over the bridge. And from the bus, we would behold downtown with all of its possibilities. At the time, this was just a half-vacant shopping mall. It was named Fiesta Plaza, but everybody called it the Pink Elephant. I couldn't have imagined back then that this place would help make some of the same educational opportunities that I experienced in my own life come true for so many others. But thankfully, for all of us, there were those who could imagine it, and they were willing to fight for it. And all of you were there to help build it. The community owes you a great debt of gratitude. Thank you for that. And to each and every one of the students here today, I want you to know how proud of you that we all are. You're part of a generation that will make San Antonio, our state, and our nation better than it ever has been. And we can start right here by writing the next chapter for UTSA downtown. And the thing is that the clock is ticking. Just down the street from here, at the hospital, there are babies that are being delivered. I see a day 20 years from now when that child is a sophomore here, well on his way or her way to reaching their dreams, to become an engineer perhaps. And in reaching those dreams, they'll help San Antonio to prosper too. Thank you very much.